What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the show. This is Eric. How y'all doing?
What's up, everybody? This is Dejan Amon. So today we got a special episode to those who are 30 and 19 and above. It's called the 20 somethings, like the Scissor song says. We're going to be talking about relationships, responsibilities, and ownership, and what comes into that. And we're going to see if we're stressing out, we are we where we supposed to be, or we going shit to hell. So relationships. All right. So at this point in time, me and Eric, 2 years out of college, and we've seen a lot of our peers from high school and college are having a lot of children, and they are in serious relationships, which is a good
Yeah.
thing. And also, we are seeing a lot of them get married. So you got some, on the other hand, having babies, and then you have
Yeah.
some that's just having, a marriage. So we're trying to figure out what is that happy medium in the early 20 somethings to be satisfied with. Should you already be married? No pressure, because the older folks, the old heads are telling us not to get married young, enjoy your life. So your
Mhm.
so your oats, your royal oats.
Yeah, the royal oats or something. It's like it's kind of a weird feeling right now, because it's just like you see all your people that you grew up with that's at this point in their lives. That's like they're making these real tough decisions of life, and it's just like, am I doing the right thing? Every day when I wake up, I see like a new person that's married or got a kid or something, and it's just like, man, I feel like I'm moving along too slow, and I'm just like still a big old kid, and it's just like, are we doing the right thing?
I feel like at a certain point, I feel like we are, because to be honest with you, if I'm looking at the friends that I have, my friend group on like
Yeah.
Facebook and stuff like that from high school, most of the people are having kids when they're not prepared. So,
Hmm.
it's taken away from everything else they could be doing in life. But I know some responsible people. And I just feel like, and in 20 somethings is like, I don't think anybody honestly wants to have kids at this point, especially after 2020.
I'm saying, bro, but it's just like, remember that old ideology back in the day when people were living on their acres and they had their lands like in the south and something, and like it was expected for people to have these children young and for people to get married young, and it's interesting to like see that manifest in like the last of the 2010s and stuff of that nature. So I don't know, it seems like it's a mindset switch that's occurring right now, and people are wanting more responsibility, and it's just like it seems like for them to fully understand themselves and for them to get the most out of life is to do these extreme things. It's kind of like we're having this quarter life crisis.
Yeah, a quarter life mid crisis, or a quarter midlife crisis.
Yeah,
But I don't think the answer is like to have kids. But as far as like relationships, uh,
yeah,
my relationship with my girlfriend Mediana is basically the longest relationship that I have seen like last so far. Because a lot of people from like high
right.
school and college, when they meet in college, they still not up in us because we met a year, well, my sophomore year, so that's been 6 years.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
I found a lot of people are like promoting our relationship with like social media and whatnot, like commenting on pictures and stuff like that. Because it's like to
hmm,
find millennials that has a relationship where they didn't find it on the internet or didn't find it
hmm,
on Tinder, because this is the Tinder age.
yeah,
Everybody is swipe left, swipe right. So it's like, why? What is the perfect relationship? Because you don't want to be too
yeah,
old trying to look for a woman, what is like, or a man, or whoever you prefer. You don't want to be
yeah,
that old and be like that old person in the club trying to look for relationships. Because I don't
exactly.
know. I don't even think relationships in clubs work.
Oh no, they don't. It just seems like we're searching for our soulmates right now because especially right now, I've been seeing a lot of, like we already talked about, people getting married, and it's just like unexpected during this period of time. And it's just like when you find that person, I guess people want to act on it, and I guess we're getting to a point where I'm starting to understand for myself, like what you want as an adult and like what you're trying to seek for and what's going to make you happy. So I guess that's what people are acting on nowadays and like trying to actually just do that thing. It's just like I'm not knocking anybody, but it's just like I don't know, some of the decisions, especially like we definitely going to talk about finances and the 20 somethings in the next segment, but like relationships and stuff, man, it's just I don't know, it's a
Okay,
tough one.
but I have a question for you. What if you were to get married? What would be your ideal age for marriage, or even have like kids with
I
that
feel
person?
so like how I was raised, my pops was always like after 35, and like I thought
Hey,
that was
that's a little late, because the doctors say that a woman's fertility goes down when she hit the 30. So
I know, but like I've also always told myself growing up that I don't want children, so it's just like if it happens, it happens, but like I'm not really seeking that. And it's just like if I get a partner in like later down the line, I would hope they understand that, and I would try to seek a partner that's like not looking for that. And I would want to adopt a kid because it's just like I've found out throughout college and going to grad school about how many kids that like need to be adopted. And because it's just like, it's also with like cats and dogs and all those things. It's just like we can do more by adopting people and helping them out, because it's just like bringing more children into this planet it's tough right now, especially in 2020.
So now, what about like marriage? I know, right at this age, 23, are you thinking about marriage personally?
Absolutely not.
Me, I have to consider marriage. You know, I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it, of course,
Why
because me
is
and my
that?
girl, so we've been together for so long. So that's one of the reasons that I would even consider marriage. Is like me and her, speaking on like responsibilities and going into the next segment, we combine so many responsibilities that's just like we becoming one person.
Yeah.
So for me, that age, even though all the old heads, I'm telling you, like old people at like sports lounge, because sometimes I do security there, they were
Yeah.
telling me like, don't get married when you're like 23, don't do this and don't do that. I'm like,
Yeah.
you telling me this when I want that? Like, I'm a serial monogamous. Like,
Okay. I
so
feel like it's definitely depends on like the person you are, because like I said, we're at a point of age where we know what we want, and like you are that type of person where you know what you want and what you need.
okay, so like as far as like establishing relationships or not establishing, like what is far from established relationships? What is like too much? You know, you have the left side and the right. Let's say right side is full on marriage at 23, and then that liberal left side is what, every night another woman. Like should we be
Nah.
doing that?
Nah, I wouldn't say that. Like people, you do that. You have that phase in college, and it's like it's fun for a little bit, but then it's just like, that's not all right. I feel
So it's
like you should
childish.
just. It's not childish, but it's just like it gets old after a while. You feel me?
Mm.
And it's just like I feel like at this point, especially at like 23 years old, taking ourselves for account, you just have to have a partner, or at least if you want that, have a partner that's there for you and just like that understands who you are and where you at in your life in this situation. And you also got to be understanding for them as well. So it's just, as long as y'all communicate, which we all know is like the big thing, and everything may fall in place and you won't have any issues.
Right. Okay. And right before we
What,
transition into our next segment into responsibilities, I just want to say that as far as like someone who is tiptoeing toward marriage, just wait and see how long you can be with that person and take it step by step. Because me and
mm-hmm.
my relationship, we first got started by seeing each other and living with each other. No, first we started having a car, and then we started living together, and then we started
Yeah.
combining our cell phone bills, and we paying light bills and signing leases together. So everything was like inch by inch. We never like full on went into a ocean dive into
Mm-hmm.
responsibility. So
Okay.
it's like we slowly built the building blocks so we can make sure the pyramid was strong and this and that, and then
Mm-hmm.
all our families met each other and all this and that. So for anybody at my age at 23 or that's considering marriage, that's my advice.
So the last segment before we had ended, you was like talking about the shared responsibilities that you and your partner are like starting to have and like growing. So like during this 20-something phase, regardless of if you're in a relationship or if you're not, like where do you think we're supposed to be at regarding our financial status and like taking steps towards being financially free?
Well, that is a mighty good question. I mean, statistically speaking, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the mean of the wage between 20 and 24 is supposed to be about $30,000, and this was reported in 2019. So,
Okay.
as far as like the net worth, they said that you should be in the range of $30,000 having in your savings account or in your
Yeah.
investment or somehow like that. I would say that number, ebb and flows between that point, whether you're in college and you have debt or some type of debt
Mm-hmm.
anyway. But as
Yeah.
far as like finances and wealth, I try to follow my rule was like I want my net worth to match my age or more.
Mm.
And yeah, so that if 19, I wouldn't say that, but now that I'm hitting that 23s and I'm able to have a job and have stability and stuff like that, I think
Yeah.
$23,000 is good
It's a good range.
for a network. I have more
Yeah.
than that, but
Hey, I'm not pushing against that big baller shot caller. Like you had mentioned, you was talking about like being in school, and it's just like when when you're in school at this age, it's like really really difficult for me. I'm speaking in my experience only. Like you can, everybody that's listening, you can like think about your own situations in this, and don't like really compare yourself to another person. Just be like, what can you do to take the right steps in the right direction? So like for myself, I'm thinking like, man, I want to be like financially free and like getting all of like the assets that I want, because I'm seeing all these people. We listen to Earn Your Leisurely podcast all the time, and if you all want like another podcast outside of ours, always check them out. We're trying to become what they are. So they talk about all the assets and the stocks that you have, and me and you of course talked about that. We have our episode that discussed that, and it's just like being in school, I can't necessarily like jump into that field, and it really is tough for myself because I like see everybody and like see yourself and like seeing all these people that's like having all of these things, and I'm like, damn, am I not good enough? And it feel like that 20 something battle that you always like comparing yourself with somebody else.
Yeah, so you're gonna compare, Instagram, based off that Netflix series and our own understanding. Instagram is poison. Like social media is poison because everybody is always trying to one up. And when you see people flexing on the ground, with holding money to their ear, like Jay-Z said, it's like, dang, like why?
We don't call that money over here.
But when you see people doing it, it's like you start thinking like, what am I doing that that's wrong? Like they have the money to their ear, and I'm barely like I'm still paying off debt, or I feel like I ain't got enough money compared to them. You don't know what's in their bank account. So the best thing to do is to mind your own business, like literally mind your business.
Yeah, and I feel like but in this era of Instagram and instant gratification, it's so hard to like mind your business because we have it at our disposal all the time. And it's like, it's so easy to say like check out, log out and all of those things. But like, what else are you going to do in the meantime? It's like, I try to tell myself to read more books, and I've been doing that. I finally got done with a book that I've been reading for like the last 3 months, and it feels amazing. I'm trying to get back into it, but it's just like, we have to find those little hobbies to fill in our free times, to be away from like comparing ourselves with people, you know? Like listen to some podcasts more, you know?
Yeah, listen to podcasts. Like you said, you can listen to books now, Audible. You know, we're not living in the 1920s. Everybody can be heard at this point in time, so there's no excuse. And I mean, as far as like comparing yourself, it's not deadly if you can understand who you are. So, you know, what I try to do with social media and Instagram is I try to follow people that I want to mimic or be like, you know? Right. So I have people that talk about stocks or talk about real estate or just talked about like having a healthy mindset, meditation, podcasts and pages and stuff like that. So it's like when I'm scrolling through, I'm not necessarily seeing people that I'm envying or anything like that. It's people I want to mimic. And those people who are on the gram putting money to the air, I just simply unfollow them. Like you ain't delivering no content in my life that I need. Like
exactly.
People are substituting Instagram for TV. So even when you watching TV, you used to be there sitting and programming your mind, television, like you're programming your vision. It's the same thing. Social media is programming you. So what are you trying to put in yourself? Do you want to see the dope boy who's flexing on the brand that's probably car cracking? Or do you want to understand a little bit more about what's his name? Tony Roberts, who talks about building a diverse portfolio, things like that.
So this makes me think about a class that I took at Grinnell, educational psychology, where you kind of like learned about how you learned, and like showing people and like having people that you want to be like and that you want to look up to and have those. It's like imitative learning. You're trying to like not like copy what they're doing, but like see what they are doing and how you, like we said earlier, take those steps in the right direction to put yourself on the right path. And it's just like, if you want to, like the other saying, what you put in is what you get out. So it's just like you have to train your mind. It's hard. It was so hard for myself. Like me and you had so many conversations just off the screen, just like talking about like how we can do the little things, like get things right, and to just make sure that your mindset is right. And it's so hard to like just get out of it. But once you do, man, you can just like see how much energy and like time that you got to put towards positive and things that are like that you're passionate about. So that's what we wanted to talk about within this financial stage, and we got you a little bit more. What are we gonna talk about in the next segment before we end the show?
All right, before we end the show, we're gonna talk about ownership, and ownership meaning like what you have. You don't necessarily have to own anything. We're gonna be talking about rental properties and like having a car, lease, and stuff like that. Just things at your disposal. Like how much things are you supposed to have at this point in the stressful years of the 20-somethings?
Oh, yeah, man. 2020 has been a mug.
Just 20 years. This 20 years been stressful. All right, so now we're going to get into this thing called ownership. And now when we speak about ownership in the 20-something, it is what should you have at this point in time between the years of 20 years old up until the age of 29 years old, which is basically 30. So one thing that I didn't understand about ownership when I was in college, and based on my family not telling me this, you know, shout out, I love y'all, but some of these things I had to figure out on my own. Is one thing about ownership is you need to be able to prove that you can fund some of your goals and dreams. So if that's getting a property or a house by yourself, or even renting it by yourself, or getting a car, or even at this point getting a phone, you need to establish credit. Credit. And I'm gonna say it one more time. Credit.
Credit. That stuff is important, man. It's just like we was talking about that, like how that's not something we don't learn about that in high school, but like establishing credit as early as possible is definitely a major gateway into becoming financially free. Because like my mom like put that on me. She was like, the minute that I turned 18, she like put me on her credit line, and that's an easy way to like get your credit like score up and to like build credit and have that history. Because a lot of these, like when you want to go buy a home or if you want to buy a car, they look at your credit history. So if you can like just tag along on somebody as a credit line, you can use their credit history as your own, and you can like build up your credit. So man, really just try to get on with credit line as early as possible.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So, and also many people don't understand if you're in like college and stuff like that, and you took out a loan, you already established some credit, whether
Hell
it's
yeah.
good or bad. If you have been paying back your loans, subsidized or not, like that establishes your credit. So if you have a student loan, make sure that your credit is good. You know, you can
Hell
always
yeah.
check that stuff for Credit Karma. If you got a bank account app, they usually have like Credit Karma or Experian at your at your disposal, so you can look it up. But as far as like renting a property, in the 20 somethings, you know, we said that most people own an average of like $30,000 a year. And
Yeah.
I would say coming out of college or just coming into your, you know, just try to live below your means, because 30,000 is not a lot of money. You're talking about 12 months of $1,000, depending on when you live. You only got
Yeah.
18 at your disposal. Now you only got that 18 to what? Pay car insurance, to pay a phone bill, to pay
Yeah.
Wi-Fi if you need it, to pay for some
Right.
food.
You never
So
know what can happen, man.
exactly. So that's one thing that you need to figure out is your budget and living below your means at this age. So like the 20 somethings is basically like trying to perfect your game plan when you get into the 30s. Now, Eric, I know Eric is trying to get into real estate. That's another
Yeah.
form of ownership.
Yeah, man. So like I have a family member that's been in it, and she's a business professor. So she like put me on game with that. So I'm trying to like jump into buying like a 2-flat building, a 3-flat building like that. So it's a way of you can live in one of those apartments, pay off your rent by charging your tenants a little bit more than like your the needs of your mortgage. So then you can have a little extra money that you can stash and put away in your pocket. So say if your mortgage is like what, 1,300, you can charge the two other people maybe $700 each. So then you get in 1,400, and then you pay your mortgage, and then you can stash like that $100-200 or something like that. So that was another way that you get in, but you definitely got to have the credit score and then cash. So that's where I'm like left stranded at, because like I have a decent credit score and all that, but you got to have that cash up front to buy these properties. So yeah, I'm just trying to grind right now to like get this like bread so I can like actually get the property, you know?
Right. So in the age of 20 somethings, this is what you should be trying to do. Like perfect
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
ownership level, perfect your relationships, and perfect all your responsibilities. Because once you get to the age of 30 or 29, you know, we're gonna do it a little bit before, because we set our clocks 5 minutes before the time we got to leave out the house. So once you hit the age of 29, you should already be establishing like, oh, I know what property I'm gonna buy. I know what these terms means. If you looking to get into real estate,
Yep.
stocks, anything with some ownership and responsibility, you should already figure out like who you might consider being with. I would say, like, I'm not gonna say rush it, but you know, no one likes to be alone. You know,
Yeah.
no one wants to be in the club. That old dude that's in the club with a turtleneck and a pimped out house talking about, "Hey, you doing, little lady?"
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you.
So, in the age of 20 something, that's pretty much it. Like, just perfect yourself, and just don't and also don't compare yourself to
Yeah,
everybody.
man.
We understand that as you get older, everybody that seems like they balling is getting
Yeah.
younger. The rappers are getting younger. The basketball players are getting younger.
Yeah, man. It's just like, especially in this age of instant gratification, because we have it like right in our hands all the time. It's just like when I wake up in the morning, I just want to open up the Instagram or something like that. But it's just like you can't do those things, man. You have to like have those times to just be with yourself and like get away from these. Get away from like comparing yourselves to these people, because it's just like DJ said, like they only showing you their times when they're up. They don't show you when they're down. And it's just like if somebody's showing you that, then that's when you know they're a real genuine person. So just pay attention to that, because it's a tough time.
Yeah. And on that note, this is gonna be the end of this season.
Yeah.
First season of the Gray Area.
You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Hey, Hey, we really appreciate everybody that tuned in and listened and showed us love. We're just starting this off, and we're just trying to see where this takes us. We're not trying to do this for any popularity, any of that. We're just having like genuine conversations with each other. These are some of the conversations that we have like when we're not on camera, and we just want to just have a platform to just share it, and so people can just see that they're not the only ones that's going through this. So of course, during this time, we're going to do some promoting to get some more listeners in that. So please, you all, please share, please comment under our videos, and let us hear what you're thinking, because we want to tune in with y'all and make sure, of course, you like. And we'll be back around like February, March time, giving ourselves some time to decompress and relax, and for you all to like look back and reflect on what we have, man.
Right, and also we're gonna be stocking up on some new equipment, getting better sound quality. Soon Eric will be out of college, and then we are most likely be doing these videos side by side. So we give instead of having Zoom calls, with sometimes janky audio, we'll be together with some microphones, and then we would try to take off from there. But look forward to seeing y'all and hearing from us again. That's the gray area, Eric.
Hey, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Peace.